Hey, what's up everybody? This is Wallace here from A3Academy. Uh, I'm on the plane back home to the United States. I just played a prank on Pete that I got mauled by a cat. So I'm leaving him in Venezuela. Can't wait to see the look on his face when he finds out. But anyway, photosynthesis is really important. You can pretty much thank everything on the planet for photosynthesis. If it weren't for that, then you wouldn't be alive on the planet right now. So yeah, it's pretty important. Most of the oxygen on Earth is created from photosynthesis. So the air you breathe is thanks to this chemical process. So what is it really? Well, suppose we had an organism like a tree and a light source like the sun. The light source brings light all the way over to the organism, and through photosynthesis the plant creates energy. So photosynthesis just converts light energy to chemical energy. But not anything can just do photosynthesis. Like humans can't do photosynthesis. Here are some of the organisms that can do photosynthesis. We have most plants. There are a couple exceptions, but most plants can do photosynthesis. Most algae can also do photosynthesis. Remember, algae aren't plants. And some bacteria, not all bacteria, but a couple, like cyanobacteria, can do photosynthesis as well. So there are just a couple types of bacteria. There are a couple animals that can't do photosynthesis, like animals. Most animals can't do photosynthesis. There are like a couple that can, but those are exceptions. And fungi. Zero fungi can do photosynthesis. Like, it's not possible. So photosynthesis is really just a chemical reaction. It's split up into a bunch of little steps, but the main reaction is we start out with 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. We have 6 more molecules of H2O, water, and we add a little bit of energy. And from that we get a molecule of C6H12O6, which is a carbohydrate called glucose. It's really important for energy storage in cells, and it helps out a lot with cellular respiration. And along with this molecule of glucose we get 6 oxygen molecules. So there are 2 main phases to photosynthesis. The first one is called the light reactions, phase 1. So in the light reactions, light energy is converted into 2 molecules. The first one is ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. ATP has a lot of high energy chemical bonds and is pretty useful for the next part of photosynthesis. Same with NADPH. NADPH is a more involved role in photosynthesis, and we will take a look at it later on. The next phase of photosynthesis is the dark reactions. The dark reactions are when we have our 2 molecules, ATP and NADPH, from earlier on in the light reactions. Those 2 come together with a little bit of CO2, and they join the Calvin-Benson cycle. And that is a vicious circle of chemical reactions that occurs to produce glucose, which is C6H12O6. Remember, that was the important carbohydrate we talked about earlier that helps out with storing energy in cells. So to recap, we start out with light energy coming from the sun or some other light source. That light energy is used to produce ATP and NADPH, which is used to power the Calvin-Benson cycle, which is used to produce glucose. And that is how light energy gets turned into chemical energy in the form of glucose. So, you might be wondering, how on earth does light energy go from light to being ATP and NADPH? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned, because that's the end of our podcast, and the first part of the light reactions will be covered in our next podcast, part 2. So that's all for us today. I'm Wallace, signing out for A3Academy, and as always, the more you know, the better you are.